Imagine standing at the edge of a dream so real you can almost touch it, yet it feels so far away. Have you ever prayed for something, worked tirelessly, and believed with all your heart, only to watch time pass by without seeing the answer? That can be one of the most discouraging seasons of life, but I want you to know today, just because it hasn't happened immediately does not mean it will never happen. With God, you will definitely win in life. The story of Joseph comes to mind. He was a young man with dreams so big, they scared his brothers. He saw visions of greatness. Yet instead of stepping right into a palace, he found himself in a pit, then sold into slavery and later unjustly thrown into prison. If you paused his life in those difficult moments, it would look like his dreams were dead. But we know how that story ends. Joseph became second in command in Egypt, saving not just a nation, but his own family. What was the lesson? Victory with God may not be immediate, but it is certain. Now pause for a moment and think about your own life. Have you been in a situation where you ask yourself, Lord, why is this taking so long? Maybe it's a business you started that isn't growing the way you hoped. Maybe it's a family situation that hasn't shifted despite your prayers. Maybe it's your health, your education, or your marriage. Whatever it is, the waiting can feel like defeat, but I'm here to remind you, it is not defeat, it is development. The Word of God makes it clear in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Did you hear that? It will surely come. Not maybe, not possibly, surely. That means God has already set the time for your breakthrough. Furthermore, think about how we measure success. We want everything quick, instant results, fast progress, immediate answers. Yet God is not bound by our impatience. He is more interested in preparing us for the blessing than just handing it over. Because if you step into something before you are ready, it could crush you instead of bless you. Imagine giving a 10-year-old the keys to a car. They may have the dream of driving, but they don't yet have the maturity or skill. In the same way, God often holds back certain victories until we are mature enough to handle them. And that's not delay, that's divine preparation. Moreover, let me make this real for you. There was a young man I once knew who wanted desperately to get a high-paying job. He applied everywhere, but kept getting rejection letters. Frustrated, he almost gave up. But during those waiting years, he decided to build his skills, take extra training, and even volunteer in places he never imagined. Years later, when a major opportunity came, he didn't just get a job, he became a manager, something he wouldn't have been prepared for without that waiting season. That's what happens when you trust God's timing. It may not happen immediately, but when it happens, it comes bigger and better than you imagine. Therefore, I want you to hear this clearly. Waiting is not wasted. Delays do not equal denials. If God has given you a promise, then the guarantee of victory is already sealed. The real question is not if, but when. The waiting season tests your faith, shapes your character, and prepares you for the weight of glory ahead. Joseph's pit was not the end. Abraham's years of childlessness were not the end. David's hiding in caves was not the end. And your waiting season is not the end. So let me ask you again, where are you right now? Are you in the pit season? Are you in the prison season? Are you in the waiting room of life? Whatever it is, remember the word of Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. You may not see the full picture yet, but God is still writing your story. You may not understand the delay, but God is arranging the details. And you may not feel like a winner right now, but with God, you will definitely win. Life has a way of testing our patience, doesn't it? We set goals, make plans, pray earnestly, and yet things don't unfold as quickly as we expect. But that's because God operates on a different clock than ours. We live in minutes and hours, But God works in seasons. He knows when the soil of your life is ready for the seed to sprout. That is why Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1 tells us, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Did you catch that? Not some things, but everything. Your career, your family, your health, your finances, even your dreams. Everything has a set season in God's calendar. Our calendar, consider this. A mango seed planted today will not bear fruit tomorrow. You may water it, fertilize it, and even sit beside it day and night, but it will not grow faster than the time God designed for it. If you force it, you will kill it. In the same way, if you try to force a breakthrough outside of God's season, you may ruin what could have been a blessing. So the waiting season is not punishment, it's divine order. Likewise, let's think about Abraham. God promised him a child, but it took 25 years before Isaac was born. Can you imagine Abraham waking up year after year looking at Sarah and still not seeing the promise fulfilled? Yet in the delay, God was teaching him trust. The same God who was faithful to Abraham is faithful to you. Your promise may be taking time, but if God said it, He will do it. His timing is perfect. Another way to see this is through the story of David. He was anointed as king while still a teenager, but he didn't ascend to the throne until years later. During that time, he faced battles, rejection, and even betrayal. But those seasons were preparing him to lead a nation. If David had skipped the waiting, he would have missed the training. In the same way, every season of waiting in your life is training you for the throne God has prepared for you. Transitioning from that, let's talk about our daily struggles. Some of you here have been praying for a promotion, but instead of elevation, you're still stuck at the same level. Some of you are believing for healing, but the symptoms are still there. Some of you are trusting God for marriage, children, or breakthrough, yet nothing seems to be moving. But listen carefully. God is not ignoring you. He is preparing you. He is aligning people, places, and opportunities so that when the time comes, no one can stop what He has ordained. To bring this home, think of a pregnant woman. Once the seed of life is conceived, she must carry it for 9 months. During that time, she cannot rush the process, no matter how uncomfortable it gets. If the baby comes too early, it will struggle to survive. In the same way, when God places a vision inside of you, you must carry it until the appointed time. Delivering too soon could destroy the promise. So what should you do while you wait? Trust, believe, stay faithful. Don't waste energy complaining about delays. Instead, use the time to grow, to serve, and to deepen your relationship with God. Because when the season shifts, when your appointed time comes, nothing will be able to stop it. And when God finally says now, everything you've been waiting for will come together in ways you never imagined. Delays and setbacks are some of the hardest experiences we face in life because they make us question if God is still with us. Have you ever been in that place where you say, Lord, I have prayed, I have fasted, I have believed, yet nothing seems to be moving? It can feel as though heaven is silent, and that silence can be heavy. But let me remind you today, delays are not denials. Just because something is taking longer than expected doesn't mean God has said no. Sometimes the wait is proof that the promise is still alive. Take Abraham as an example. God told him he would be the father of many nations, yet he grew old without a child. Imagine how painful that must have been, walking through the market with people whispering behind his back. That's the man who claims God promised him descendants. Year after year, it looked like the promise was slipping away. But Romans chapter 8, verse 28 assures us, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to His purpose. Abraham's delay wasn't denial. It was God preparing him for a miracle so big that the whole world would know it came from him. Similarly, think of David. He was anointed as king while still a shepherd boy. But instead of being crowned immediately, he faced rejection, battles, and even had to hide in caves from Saul. If you looked at David's life in those moments, you might conclude he had missed it. But in reality, the caves were shaping a king. The delays were training him to trust God. The setbacks were building courage and resilience in him. So when he finally became king, he wasn't just wearing a crown, he was carrying character. And let's be honest, in our own lives, setbacks can feel crushing. Maybe you lost a job you thought was the door to your breakthrough. Maybe a relationship you thought was leading to marriage suddenly ended. Maybe the business you invested in collapsed, leaving you in debt. Those moments feel like failure. But could it be that God is using them as stepping stones to redirect you to something greater? Joseph's brothers thought selling him into slavery was the end of his dreams. But that so-called setback became the very path to his palace. What man meant for evil, God turned for good. Now picture this in today's world. A young woman studies hard, graduates with honors, and expects to land a great job immediately. Instead, she faces rejection after rejection. Discouragement sets in. But during that waiting season, she discovers new skills, learns resilience, and eventually builds a business that not only sustains her